Hello everyone!
Hello and welcome back to another round of Controllers and Couches. I'm FullMetalChicken.
And I am Stephfafahh. Unfortunately, we have no drink sound for you today.
Yeah,
it's just us. We're boring and dry today.
We can just say that the planet ran out of water. Ran out
Touch
of water.
wood.
Touch wood. But they ran out of trees as well, so we can't touch wood.
Well, yeah, we still have all wood-made products.
Yeah. So yeah, touch shelf. Or touch floor.
How's your week been going, sir?
Oh, mine's hectic. It's been a hectic week, so essentially it's just downtime now. Apart from that, there were so many things I was planning on doing today, but I decided on doing none of them.
Yeah, well,
so I'm being
your weekend. You're entitled to do whatever you want to do.
I'm being very, very efficient. I went driving though, which was stupid because there was cars everywhere, there's fire trucks everywhere, there's ambulances everywhere, there's police cars everywhere, there's accidents everywhere, and now there's fires everywhere. So essentially we've got a real life version of The Sims going on. Now all we need is Godzilla to pop up in our local area and it's a monster film.
And the Reaper, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so essentially, I blame NORAD for that, maybe? Yeah. I'd say ASIO, but we're friendly with them. Hello, ASIO. Hello.
But yeah, can I just say when I get started that I have never done this much required reading, pre-lecture reading, post-lecture reading, supplementary reading where it's like, oh, it's technically not required, but if you want to get higher than a B, you're going to kind of have to do this extra supplementary.
And they look at it and just go, yeah.
And you just go, well, it's there. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't give it to us.
They just want you to read and read lots.
So that's what I've been doing. My yellow highlighter is a trooper. It's day 2 of uni that I've just come home from uni from. That's why it's just been nuts because everyone's just gone back. And it's just been insane, but I want to say tired, but I know I don't do anything with my life to render being tired. So
yeah, I mean, it does get pretty busy.
What do you do?
You just roll with the punches.
Yep. So on the reading front, have you got any updates for us?
I read half a chapter, but I've been listening to the audiobook version of a different book.
What chapter are you up to now?
I'm up to I think I'm up to chapter 16.
Sweet.
So,
what's the other audiobook you've been listening to?
Ready Player One, because we've got the movie coming out on the 29th of March. So I'm up to chapter 22.
Woo.
On that. So
good work. You fly through that. You can get through that in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So I figure, cruise through that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
And how's your reading going?
I participated in a readathon this Saturday that just passed, and I vlogged it. But I read the first 2 books in the Fifth Wave series. It's a trilogy, so there's the Fifth Wave, the Infinite Sea, and the Last Star. I gave the Fifth Wave 5 stars, and the Infinite Sea 2 stars. You brought me the Fifth Wave when it was my birthday, way back in 2016, and I read it that time we went on the road trip to Canberra. But I wanted to reread it because, obviously, if I'm reading the rest of the series, I wanted to refresh my memory of everything that happened and stuff. And, I think that the Fifth Wave, the first book in that series, it's one of my favourite dystopians, so I really like that. The second book was a really, bad letdown. It was more filler, and I appreciated that they focused on other characters, but it was just... could have been a 100-page novella. It didn't need to be 300 pages.
Yeah.
But what do you do? In other news, the quiz I chose today is... we're doing the Which Black Panther character are you? BuzzFeed quiz. Because we saw it, we'll be reviewing it for you shortly. And, alright. Let's see if I can get my link to work. That'd be great. Yeah. Alright, are you ready to go?
I'm good to go.
Alright, let's hit it up.
Okay, so which Black Panther character are you?
I'm going to go into this and I want to say I would like to be the guard or the sister.
You know what I thought when I was watching it? M'Baku.
Yeah.
Although, no spoiler alerts, but he's a badass. So, that'd be interesting though.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Alright.
Okay.
Choose a another Marvel hero to team up with. We have the Cap, we have Iron Man, we have Widow Black, we have Hairless Thor, we have Loki, and we have Spider-Man.
Yep, Spider-Man.
I'm gonna go with Cap. I love Cap.
I'm gonna go with Thor because he has a big hammer.
Alright.
Well, yeah.
Not anymore.
No, got destroyed. Mjolnir went bye-bye. So,
or is his heart Mjolnir, if you think about it?
Yeah. Well, essentially he is...
Electricity.
Yep. So you're an undercover spy and your cover has been blown. What do? Do you fight your way out or do you lie your ass off to try and convince them?
I want to say I'd lie my ass off so I wouldn't have to deal with fighting my way out. But I think a really good fight scene is necessary for an action movie, so I'm going to say fight my way out.
Yeah, I went for fight my way out. Would you rather have super strength for the rest of your life or a teleporter device with only 100 uses?
Super strength would be great in the gym when I'm trying to show off in front of the tryhards.
Yep.
I can't think of if you're someone who moves house all the time, super strength would be great. But that teleporter only 100 uses thing would annoy me after a while and I'd get really bad anxiety over it.
Yeah.
About like, oh my god, how many do I have left? Am I using them adequately? So I'm going to go super strength.
Yeah. I'm going to go super strength too. Just because, yeah.
You have the ability to overthrow the government and become president for life. Do you do it? Hell yes or no, nobody should be a dictator, even if it's me. I'd be a half-decent dictator. I'd be a dictator for the people. I wouldn't be a dictator. I'd be a president. I'd be a good president. But I think the people should have the ability to have different leaders so that way things can get changed up, government can change, because it's very easily to become a warlord, I think. And I'm not about that life. I'm all for, is it democracy?
Yeah.
Is that the word? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for nobody should be a dictator, even if it's
Plus
me.
one. Choose an animal that best represents your inner strength.
Okay, so we've got a white rhino. We've got
bar.
A bar.
A brown
grizzly bar.
grizzly bear.
And we've got a leon. And a gorilla.
A wolf or a snake, more specifically a cobra snake in the image.
Yep.
I most identify with wolf, but then I'm
you mean a danger snake? Oh, sorry, a danger noodle. A danger noodle.
I'm going to go with wolf.
I'm going to go gorilla.
How smug does the gorilla look?
It does, photos? Yeah. I'm like, yep, I'm going to go with gorilla. Pick something to make out of a vibranium. Sonic cannon, unbreakable armor, flying car, doomsday bunker, just a really cool sword. Nothing, I'd sell it for tons of cash.
Why is that even a question?
Yeah, I went armor. So who'd you get?
I got T'Challa.
I got M'Baku.
Okay, I'll let you read yours first. Then.
So M'Baku, you're the type of person who's all it. Well, id, they put id, all ID, but I'm assuming it's all it. You want what you want and you do
Can we talk about how far T and D are on the QWERTY keyboard?
I know, right? You want what you want and you do what you can to get it. When you're stuck doing something you don't want to do, like school maybe or work, you get bored and distracted easily. But when you're focused on something you love doing, there's almost nothing that can stop you.
Okay, so I got T'Challa. You're a passionate person, which sometimes means that you act before you think. But when it comes down to it, you always try to do what's right, even if it means looking at your own personal beliefs and thinking, is this really how it should be? Can I change to become a better person? Yeah, buddy, let's share that to everyone and bother everyone in my friendship group. I had a Facebook cull, so I culled a ton of people that I don't necessarily think I needed, so yeah. So I apologise to everyone. Okay, launching into our first movie review, we watched Winchester yesterday. Not yesterday, sorry, last week. I'm sorry, I'm a goofball. And we saw it on Cheap Ass Tuesdays over at the local Hoytses.
Yep, local Hoyts.
Give me your review. First up, a star rating, and then explain.
So, how many rooms out of 10?
How many rooms out of 10 would you give it?
For me personally, I'd probably give it 8 out of 10 rooms.
Yeah? I would give it 5 out of 5 rooms. I thought it was really, really suspenseful. It wasn't, looking back, it wasn't too heavy on the jump scares, but at the time I wanted to be scared a bit more, but I think it had a fantastic plot.
And I don't understand why it's been slammed so hard. I mean, people have slammed it and given it, terrible reviews. They've said it's just...
Because people think
dumb crap.
Helen Mirren's character is a side character.
Yeah.
She's the main character.
Yeah.
We just focus on this medical doctor's perspective.
Yeah.
But I think it's brilliant if you're into thriller movies. I'd say it's more thriller than horror.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. I'm not going to say it's like one of the best thriller movies I've ever seen, but it is definitely worth a watch. And I think it does the whole conspiracy and the story a good...
About Sarah Winchester and...
Yeah.
She's the widow of
the
William Winchester, who's
the owner of the Winchester...
Rifles.
No, it's not recoiling.
Not
revolving.
Reloading? Repeating rifle.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, repeating rifle. So, and it's interesting because when you see the screenshots, you straight away go, oh, that was filmed in Australia. And they've got a few Aussie actors in there too. I'm sorry, but after I had to do that stupid animal plant microbiology was necessary, but remember I had to do that subject in 2016 because it's like a course, it's a course subject for my course. And then trees provide a sense of place. You can look at a tree and you can know exactly where it is.
I know exactly where I am. So they walked into the townhouse in the beginning, and I'm like, this is that house that's in St Kilda. And you actually drive past if you come in from the St Kilda way to go towards the beach. Yeah. So I recognised the house, like the exterior of the house, and then you can tell that they used that.
Yeah,
and then you're like, yeah, this is really I don't know if it was rural Queensland, but you can tell that it was a bit more,
And it's funny because that actual house, I actually know a few people who've actually been to the
Winchester house, the actual mansion.
And apparently it's just really weird. And apparently it's one of the most
places
in America.
It's actually also a historical site.
Yeah, because... pretty much some of the...
It's like one of the oldest buildings too, I think, in San Jose, California. Yeah,
San Jose. So, essentially they do tours through the actual house.
Let's go one day.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
See, the thing is, I was always told that you don't go to places like that because you bring whatever it is home with you. It attaches itself to you. Yeah. So that's the only problem I have with that. But anyway, let's launch into our Black Panther movie review.
Yes.
I'm giving it 4 out of 5. It is one of the best movies we've seen in this phase of Marvel movies.
Really good. And I found I'd probably get 4.5 out of 5, only because you can give it more. But there were certain aspects I wanted to see done differently. But as a whole, for a backstory... really good, and as much as there's a little bit of a twist in it, so if you haven't seen it, go see it.
Definitely, everyone who's a Marvel fan.
Yeah,
they did it really, and they did African culture justice.
Yeah, so very much tribal based.
Yeah, it was I thought it was very well researched because I read an article about where they got their inspiration from, and actually they got some actual. Elders and stuff, allegedly, to help them with the costumes and the design and stuff. So I think it was really well researched and executed. Yeah. I think they did it well. And they treated, not that I'm trying to make this a feministic podcast, but they treated women with more respect in this movie than they did with Wonder Woman over at DC.
Absolutely.
And it was supposed to be the first, not only was it the first person of colour superhero movie, but they did, I would say that it was more of a female driven cast as opposed to
male.
I'm trying to be sexist and be like, oh my god, every
they pretty much saved the day.
But yeah,
So, welcome to Wakanda.
Straight out of Wakanda.
Yeah, so basically, it's a rite of passage for T'Challa. So, yeah.
And then we also, last night, this is where I got tongue twisted before, we decided to watch The Omen. It's a 2006 movie that is on the Aussie Netflix catalogue.
Yeah. Now, I pointed this out because I've seen the original and I saw it when I was a bit younger. And there's certain parts of that movie which you saw, you kind of go, oh, this is going to be bad. And it's not so much jump scare, it's just
gore in some places.
Yeah, and so essentially the premise is they have a kid. Oh, well,
they do have a child.
Yeah, they have a child, but they get tricked.
The child passes away.
Yeah.
And there's a child that's, whose mother died in childbirth. Unfortunately, and the husband decides to adopt this baby because his wife doesn't know.
Yeah.
And then they take it home, obviously, and they raise it, and then very dark
really dark
starts
things.
happening, and then the mother catches on and is like, I don't feel like this is my child, he scares me, blah, 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 and the child is, like, out to get her.
Yep.
Julia Stiles is the mother in this. And then the dad has to, like, backtrack everything and figure out what's going on. But, yeah, I agree with you. I was creeped out, but it must have been terrifying when the original series came out. Oh, yeah. And when this movie originally came out in 2006.
And it's actually a trilogy.
Yeah, you mentioned that. But, yeah, it was more gore in the place of thriller. And the horror aspect really got dry for me after a while. It was just kind of like, okay, so where are you going to go from here?
Yeah. But, Pete Postlethwaite. He was really good as the priest in that.
Agreed. 10 out of 10. He was the best actor in the whole cast.
Absolutely. And he really
drove that.
He has a lot of weight behind the character. Like, really, really great.
Portrays really well, really gets into it. But yeah, that's it. Yeah,
so I don't think they'll do a remake of the second and third.
It's been out for 12 years.
So
and they haven't done anything yet, unless they do a complete series reboot and do it again and do more actual thriller stuff.
Because Damien ends up going on to be president, so gets a little messed up. So yeah, there's a little bit of history for it.
Right, on to our normal scheduled programming. I have a very large selection for you today.
Yes.
I hope you liked it. I really spread far and wide for this one. That sounded so dirty. That wasn't my intention. Okay, so let me just set the scene for you. I couldn't go to sleep on Sunday night, Monday morning. So I was like, oh, okay, what's happening around in the world? And I went on to PC Magazine. And I check in there like every few days, every now and again, when I want to get updated. But I specifically went this time because I was like, you know what, I haven't played a video game in ages. There's nothing I've been excited about. And also because it's almost Call of Duty season. There's May is when the name drops. They have the teaser trailer and all that sort of thing. So I was trying to see if I had missed anything. And then I found out that a week or so ago, 45th, and that's the 45th President of the United States.
Yeah.
We shall no longer say his name. But 45th had a meeting to discuss school safety. And he said that gun violence in video games and movies is the driving force in shaping young people's thoughts towards violence. It can't possibly be anything else. But I swear to God, if I hear one more person blame gun violence, on something like what video game have people been playing since before the birth of Christ? But let's not get into that today. But anyway.
Counter-Strike. Or is it Mario? I think it's Mario. Yeah.
So there's this guy who's called Peter Alexander, and he's like a national correspondent and stuff, and he runs this Twitter account. So he tweeted out that 45th was going to meet with executives from the video game industry sometime next week for the post, but last week or this week for us, right? It was next week, last week, but it's this week for us now. So the week that you're listening to this podcast that it goes live, because everyone's still debating over what we can do to stop gun violence in schools and stuff. And so the trade agreement that the trade organisation, I should say, that represents the gaming industry in the United States, I think they're called the Entertainment Software Association. I can't remember off the top of my head. They're approached the author of this article that I read. He approached them and they were like, "Don't know what you're talking about. We haven't been invited to anything." So if your governing body for that entertainment genre is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" You know that there's some shit hitting the fan. So everyone's like, "This is absolute bullshit. What the fuck are you talking about, Peter? Your statement is garbage. You don't fuck up. You don't piss off gamers because they'll come for you, blah, 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 anonymous, blah, blah, blah." And there was a lot of hate shit that I was, like, reading through. And then it turns out that Pete Alexander, he posted a new tweet a few days ago, and he's like, that the video game companies should expect their invitations within the next few days this week.
So
should be invited over by 45th, and they're going to talk about video games.
You know what? Blizzard will get, their invites, and then they'll just send Zerg back. The White House will want to be swarmed in Zerg.
What do you do? Maybe he'll be the new evil character in the character who turns heel in the campaign of Call of Duty in this new one.
Or otherwise it'll just
But he might ban that too, like he did Fire and Fury the book, which I still need to get. But I tell you what.
All your Trump are belong to us. Or no, all your oil are belong to us.
What do you do? And then I was still there, and I was scrolling through the articles at PC Gamer, and I saw that I'm not a massive fan of the Rainbow Six franchise, good sir, but I know that you are.
Yeah.
So I threw this plug in here for you, and because you were sleeping when I read it, so it's not like I could walk down the hall and be like, "Yo, bitch, I read this article."
See, I remember playing. I'm really fond of Rainbow Six Vegas, and I just remember playing it with my brother and going through, and there was even with some mates older.
Yep.
And then playing with one of my mates from work as well. And there was this one map where we'd put C4 on windows and an NPC had rappelled down and to go through the window. And we've both clicked the C4 charge on the window and it's exploded and sent this NPC
flying across
over
the map.
A bridge and through the window on the other side of the building. And we just looked at the screen, looked at each other, and his flatmate walked past and just went, "No way, did you record that?" And we're like, "No, the capture card wasn't working." And it was hilarious. We just saw this guy flip through the air and go through the window. And yeah, absolutely, hilarious.
Well, anyway, we'll enjoy this piece of news then, because according to PC Gamer, the third season of Rainbow Six Siege will have a brand new cooperative zombie mode, and you're all about zombies.
Yes.
But Ubisoft also announced that it's going to remove the re-own cost for the game's original operators. So this allegedly means that new players can have a better chance of pretty much unlocking operators that are available during the match, as opposed to one or two people picking, like other people on the team, picking what the operators are. So, yeah, in case we are a gaming podcast too, we just haven't really spoken about it.
And see, it's funny, Rainbow Six has taken a little bit of a back step because, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, they're at the forefront because people just love, going out and just killing everything. Whereas Rainbow Six, even like we used to playing SWAT, when we used to play SWAT, it was more about using the tactical advantage. How can you get the hostages out, subdue...
It was more objective-based, as opposed to just, let's run and gun and scream and freaking...
So you have to think tactically. Yeah. And that's the approach. You have to you plan it all out. How do you, breach, bang, clear...
Do you know what I think? In my own experience, I think more people have pirated Counter-Strike games...
Absolutely.
Then more people have bought any other first-person shooter game in all of sales history.
Yeah. I haven't played Counter-Strike for a while.
I have not played it for over a decade, I think.
And it's just... it's fast-paced, but I think once I get back into Halo, Call of Duty may take a back step.
Yeah.
Only because Halo was a beast.
I played, I want to say an hour of Call of Duty with you, not last night, the night before.
That was a rampage, though. That guy that, started swearing and stuff, and getting all hectic. And then he said something about you.
Oh, who knows? And we didn't even have our headsets on.
Yeah.
We
just heard it through the TV.
Sitting there, living our lives, having a conversation. This bitch is talking shit because you were in first place.
Yeah.
And I was in second. And he was just bitching and he's like, "You're fucking camping, you fucking bitches." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm running and gunning. It's an assault rifle. I'm not, packing a fucking sniper rifle on my back and an LMG in my hand."
And the reason he cracked the shits, and this was the funny part, I long shotted him across the map with an assault rifle. So
just cause
he popped up behind a rock and I headshotted him. So he's trying to ping me, and then it got to the point where he started raging.
Yeah.
And we noticed that he was doing some broken stuff.
You actually reported him.
Yeah,
so.
I had to, because when you've got someone who's able to hide in solid objects, and mind you, we had 5 guys shooting him, at him. It wasn't even
I was literally wasting a 30 mag clip, a 30 bullet mag, and nothing. I'd get a hit marker, the first hit marker you get. And that's it. That's all. Nothing.
So, but yeah, it's funny. And I mean, we don't know whether it was screen tear or what. But I mean,
something was broken.
Our fraps were pretty low. Or no, wait. No, fraps is high, isn't it? So you want frame rate per second.
Well,
yeah. So we've got good fraps.
And not only that, we had a good reception thing too.
Yeah.
And I actually did the speed test, so we were fine.
Yeah, and he was
refiring.
refiring.
It was just this kid doing stupid shit. I think he was lag switching, but what are you going to do? But anyway, let's move into Science Central. Go Science!
Go for science!
Alright, so we're starting from the weird things and moving our way into the cool biotech, biomed things today. Alright, so buckle up. So a group of scientists at Columbia Uni, they created the world's largest family tree.
Yeah, trees.
Yeah, it contains 13 million people over approximately 11 generations, and this is the greatest data set ever generated in any research project ever, and it shows obviously trends in migration across Europe and North America, and obviously because you get that migration you also get to see mating rates and how specific events in time have affected gene flow and all that sort of stuff.
Well, look at before 1850 everyone was keeping it in the family.
Well, actually, I read the article, and some people are still keeping it in the family. But yeah, it shows how people from different nations and regions and hemispheres married, reproduced over the last 500 years.
Look at French Canada.
Let's not be...
No, in the sense that you look at from a gene pool, there's a high level of homozygosity going on there, which is bad because, in case some people don't know this, when you've got you've got...
You make it a lot easier to have very rare genetic mutations.
Yes.
Be passed on to your children.
If you're heterozygous and you've got rare alleles. Yeah. However, if you've got just pure...
Random people. That's called random association.
Yep, random association. But once you've got a population that is essentially homozygous across the board...
That's a bit better. But then not as well because you can still lose the rareness.
But if everyone has the same genes, you've got no
variation.
No, which is bad.
So then when it comes to an actual event where some change is required or some variation is required, you can see a whole... there's nowhere to go. Stop picking your nails, please.
I have to do it at least once during this podcast and see when people can guess. It's like winning a free prize.
Then if you go through, what do they call them? Bottleneck effects.
Yep.
And
genetic
there's
drift.
just nowhere to go. There's nowhere to drift to because everyone's the same.
To the pub.
But yeah, they compiled it. This is where it starts to get skewed, okay? It's not actual research data. What it is they compiled this tree using genealogical websites and public profiles on the top genealogical websites like findyourfamily.com, ancestry.com and all that shit.
Yeah.
So it's very skewed, and it's also skewed statistically in that approximately 85% of the profiles are sourced from Europe and North America.
Yeah.
So it's very one hemisphere.
Very biased.
So, yeah. But I appreciate the fact that we are now able to make meta studies and meta, what's the word I'm looking for? Reviews, because we can just crunch these numbers now. Computers are that fucking fantastic.
No, I just like it. how you can now compare the lifespans. Whereas back then people lived until like 30, 40, and now they live until like 90 to 100.
Well, we're not supposed to live that long. We are supposed to live till... They think we're supposed to live till about 65, 70.
Yeah.
But obviously we have a lot more health. You know, we have better access to healthcare, well, especially the Western culture. And we have better quality food. We have, you know, sanitation, our water access, especially in Melbourne. We have some, like, I think we're in the top 5 or top 4 from memory, water quality in the world. So not just us, but not just Australia as a whole, but Victoria especially.
But we do get people who get all cranky because of fluoride and chlorine in the water.
You know what? I don't think people understand things. But these are the exact same people that, no offence to anyone, I understand having a few, you know, knocking back a few because the mates are over, you're trying to unwind or whatever. If you're doing it in moderation and you're not doing it because you're trying to escape something in your life, fucking go for it. If it's part of your balanced diet, you know, you're in a healthy range. And when I say healthy range, I just mean health-wise. So you're not at risk of diabetes, cholesterol, obesity, whatever. Fucking do whatever you want. Like, it's your life, it's your body.
Yeah.
But the people that it's the people that do really dumb shit and take hard fucking core drugs, and then they're like, oh, I can't drink water because it's got fluoride in it. You
kind of go, well, that's a nice deposition you got going on there, but you can't really back up the facts.
I don't know. But anyway... People are muppets.
Yes.
There was also this story, I'm calling it Stay Frosty.
Oh, yeah.
I got a bit punny after a while. But so, the organic carbon layer that's found in permafrost, and I found out that permafrost is soil, rock, or sediment that's been frozen for more than 2 consecutive years. But most permafrost in the world is considered to be frozen for, let's just say, over 10 times that amount.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the actual, like... That's the term, that it has to be a minimum of 2 years. Blah,
and
blah,
we
blah.
know what sits in permafrost,
yes,
don't we?
That's why I went to this article, but this is a little bit different. So it's releasing this organic carbon as the ice is melting, and because it's within the water as the ice melts, it's obviously going to run off to catchments. And this is in the Arctic and subarctic lakes and ponds. So all of this organic carbon is running off, entering these water catchments. And because there's so much of it, it's altering the composition.
And making it denser.
Yes. But obviously, supposedly, I don't know what makes it so much better, but apparently this carbon is really good at absorbing light. And you'd think that it would also... This is just me adding this based on the story I read. But you would also think that it would increase the amount of nutrients available for endogenous microbes. So shit that's already living in there, whether it be archaea, you know, like the fungi or the bacteria already living in there. So you'd think that it'd make those populations explode because you got a lot more nutrients, therefore they can, you know, grow.
But if it's, like, say, for instance, we'll take certain jellyfish. There is a certain crater that has a lake in it, and it's got jellyfish, like mass population of jellyfish. Something like that, where they're photoreceptive. Yeah. If you're increasing the density and they're becoming darker and more stratified, it's going to start affecting the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So you're going to start getting plant life and aquatic life that are going to struggle to survive now because they're so used to living in a certain, certain depth
level and a certain light.
Yeah, they're going to have to change, which then makes them more susceptible to predation, and that would mean that they would then get wiped out. So, yeah.
Bit of ecology for you there.
Yeah.
And this one you're going to love, okay? This one, I'm calling it hide and seek, but penguins.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, Skipper!
So, let me set the scene. This story is amazing. It takes you places. So, scientists are studying bird poop, but the actual scientific term for it is guano. Okay.
Guano.
So, what they did was they went over to NASA and they said, yo, NASA, can we borrow your orbiting Landsat satellites, please? And NASA was like, yeah, sure, do what you want. These are the times you're allowed to use them. And then so they said, you know what no one has done before? Let's program an algorithm to find patches of penguin poop. Just penguin poop, right?
Nothing but.
Just so we can study population...
What a crap job.
Yeah, just so they can study population dynamics and shit. And so they're plugging these images through the computer, like through the algorithm and shit. And then all of a sudden, the computer, the algorithm spits out this area. So they discovered a secret. The species is called Adelie penguin.
Yeah.
So they found it's classified.
Adelie, yeah.
Penguins have kingdoms, like crows have murders, and sheep have herds, and bees have swarms, hives.
Hives, yeah. Or you get a swarm of bees.
You get a cyclone of wasps, don't you?
I think so.
No, you get a cyclone of scorpions. That's it, a cyclone of scorpions. Sorry. Anyway, so basically, they found this penguin kingdom, hidden on this remote Antarctic archipelago, which I think just means, based on its size and scale, they call it Danger Island.
Yeah.
Because it's like this massive island of ice, and it sits on an ice shelf, and not many people have actually gone there because it will just kill you.
Yeah. That's the joy of the Antarctic archipelago.
Yes, so you know what they did? They sent out a drone. I watched the drone footage that they released, and there's some birds there. There's a lot of birds, and they approximately think that there's 1.5 million there. So.
Wow, that's good for a population study.
Yeah.
But the problem is, something like this, you'd have to put something through to make sure that it's protected, because if people start going there and interfering...
Well, they're not worried, because it's very inaccessible to go there, so they're not worried about people visiting. They're more worried about the fact that here we have another 1.5 million penguins that the ocean cannot
reasonably
supply
sustain.
Much more. So that's it. And then this is going to slingshot. This is one of my top 5 favourite things we're talking about today. All right. Okay, you know I like conspiracy theories, but this is not. This is a stupid thing. But when I was reading it, I thought it was hilarious. I was pissing myself laughing. So buckle up. We're travelling through Conspiracy Town. It's still science, but we're making a stop at Conspiracy Station. All right? Ooh. I will put the link, everyone, in the description so you can have a look at this. So, there's this video on YouTube by, his name is all one word, and it's called Secure Team 10. And it's not UFO anymore, it's Unidentified Flying Phenomena, so UFP. So he's a UFP enthusiast, and he does a lot of like alien conspiracies and shit. So basically, the images were already popular, but he picked them up and made a video about them, and obviously put his voice over and all that shit. So basically, there's this big hunk of something that is cigar shaped, and people think, and it's just in the snow, like on the ice, and people think that it's an alien spacecraft. And because it's in such a remote part of Antarctica in South George Island, there are less than 30 people that live on that island, and they're all research or military staff. So from the images, it has slid. There is no actual relative, because you can't judge the distance without anything there that you know the height or the length of. But basically, they're able to estimate. They know it's kilometres long. They don't know specifically the actual quantifiable amount.
You know what? I reckon it's a submarine.
No.
Space submarine.
No, it's not a space submarine.
From Mars.
It is this thing that's cigar shaped, right? And it looks like it's slid across the ice for kilometres, and then it's just stopped. But
it ran out of Cubans.
People were panicking because you know how the most likely and supported idea of what an alien aircraft for long distance space travel, how it's supposed to be a cigar because, you know, it pierces through the air faster, and it's like all about the aerodynamics and shit. Yeah. Is it called space dynamics instead of aerodynamics?
No, I think still... Yeah, that'd be interesting for someone to post, but I think it's still aerodynamics. Actually,
I don't know. But anyway, so it's been debunked because it's just a massive rock that is being moved because it's being pushed by a glacier.
Yay! So it just snapped off and then just...
Yeah. And if you actually have a look at one image, he just shows you the bird's eye view. He doesn't actually show you from the ground. And you will actually see in the link where you can actually see the shelf in front of you.
Broken off.
And it's broken off and it looks like a frozen waterfall. So you can tell that the ice is just pushing it out as it melts and refreezes, refreezes.
And it's just snapped off and gone for a walk.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was pissing myself laughing. And I hate pseudoscience. Like, it's all well and good to have some conspiracy theories where you're like, oh yeah, it's good to have a laugh. I enjoy the ones that may actually be true. Not like I enjoy sometimes the far-fetched ones, and the military ones and the science ones, but I really enjoy the ones where it's like, oh no, it's not. This isn't a conspiracy, and then it comes out 2-3 years later, oh, we didn't want to induce mass panic, or we weren't sure, but I like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Space ducks.
Continuing on our conspiracy theories, we have another debunking one.
Oh, cool. Here we go.
This one is the proposed science behind the Mandela Effect.
People just... You know what I reckon it is? People just keep forgetting.
Actually, it's worse. So I found this story yesterday because I was moving through the I Fucking Love Sciences homepage again because I couldn't sleep. And I read this article. I was very, very, very intrigued. But just to give you the rundown, if you don't know what the Mandela Effect is, it's this phenomena where in 2010, after Nelson Mandela unfortunately passed away, people were saying that they recalled his death occurring in the early 80s when they thought he was in prison and he died in prison. And then this caused people to, change everything think about everything. And things had changed, like Berenstein.
Yeah.
The way company logos were, company taglines, mirror, mirror on the wall, Luke, I am your father, and a ton of other shit. And so this led to this universe shift paradigm theory where someone says that there was a glitch in the Matrix and this caused a couple or more universes to merge into one. So even though there are these alternative timelines, we're now one timeline.
But if everyone's doing it, how much merging is going on from across the board?
I have no idea. And then so this group of neuroscientists were just like, you know what, we've got the extra funding. Let's just do some shit. And they came forward and said that it's a load of bogus crap and that this is the concept of false memory, where you have mistakenly recalled events or experiences that you never occurred, you never felt, you never saw, but you're distorting existing memories and your actual memories of things that you have experienced, seen, felt, blah, blah, blah. And this is being called confabulation. And apparently it's very common, and it may also be what's responsible for deja vu.
Well, there we go.
Except that deja vu is a present stimuli being encoded and stored in your brain, whereas this, on terms of the Mandela Effect, it's more so the recall, so having to pull something out of your memory rather than trying to shove something in.
So you're saying I've never been a battle-hardened marshmallow on the front lines of France? 2046.
I'm saying that if you're trying to recall deja vu, that your brain for the deja vu thing, it's like saying when you try and remember things, your brain tries to tack it onto something you already know.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm trying to learn the numbers, my brain's going to know, oh, I don't want to have to worry about the number 5 per se. I just want to remember that it comes before 6, but it's after 4.
Yeah.
So your brain tries to slot that packet of information into a manila folder of an organised, that's already organised because it's a lot easier to store that way. But that's just how deja vu is working.
Deja vu. Which is very interesting to see.
I like it as a biochemical, I like the way, I just think it's magical how a solid fucking cell can remember something that happened to you that is not part of its actual environment.
Yeah.
Like, the neuron doesn't touch what's happening outside, but I can remember what I ate for breakfast, or I can remember something 50 years ago. Not that I'm 50 years old, but whatever.
See, I can remember that bowl of cereal I had in 1412. It was on the parapet of a castle, which wasn't there. It was actually in a boat.
It was a pirate ship
on the bottom of the Caribbean. I had no oxygen, but I was in space. And then you realise you've just watched, Clockwork Orange with 2001 Space Odyssey, eaten like 4 litres of ice cream, 2 tins of Milo, Then
Wow.
you realise you're just going into ketosis because you haven't actually eaten anything and you're just tripping balls, you know. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in my Star Trek Discovery withdrawals, this article made me very, 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 very happy. We love tardigrades
Yes, we
over
do.
on this podcast, and the water bears have struck again.
Yeah,
This time, a new species of tardigrade, or water bears, was discovered after a scientist decided one day he was just going to take a moss sample from outside his apartment complex in Japan, and there were two. It seems to be related genetically to two species found in Africa and South America, and that would be correct because once upon a time they were all one continent, so you can see how that would have, that would be plausible essentially. And it's a new species, it's the 168th to be identified in Japan. They sequenced 4 DNA fragments that have obviously different mutation rates because then you can get a better estimate as opposed to something... shut up, Fridge. Because you know when something that just, has a really, 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 really high mutation rate,
Yeah.
and then something, because that can really skew your calculations. So they looked at 18S RNA, then they also looked at... What is it? What have I forgot here? 18S, 28S RNA, and then something called the internal transcribed spacer, and cytochrome oxidase 1, which is the first complex in the electron transport system. And from memory, I think it only... Yes, it spits out 4 protons. Yeah. Hope you're happy about that.
I am, yes.
Yeah. That's actually going to be on my exam. We learn that next week. But anyway, so they chucked all of this data based on their sequencing. And I love no one loves bioinformatics, but you only love bioinformatics after you get your data. Can we agree? You have a degree.
Yeah.
Stop picking your nails.
But it's
Put them
tardigrades.
down. Everyone loves bioinformatics after it's done, and I like this article because I have to do a bioinformatics assignment in a week's time.
And I've made
Stop looking at them. Stop touching at them.
But
Put them on separate sides of your computer.
Have you noticed that tardigrades look like psychotic sheep?
No. Don't change the channel.
Yeah, the psychotic sheep.
Anyway, so they chucked all this into GenBank, conducted a large-scale phylogenetic analysis, and found that this new clade has an accuracy of 0.95 to 1, which means that it's pretty much 100%, almost 100% statistically supported, and I love bioinformatics at work. I just thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so unlike the macrobiotis Euphyllandia tardigrades, these ones were munching on algae. Algae.
Is moss algae or is moss plant?
Moss is a plant because algae is a biofilm. From memory?
Algae doesn't have to be a biofilm. They just, when they cluster a large amount of cells, they can form a biofilm.
Yeah, from memory, moss is small flowerless plants.
Okay, just checking.
And,
You pull out their biotechnology.
Yeah, I'm liking this moss. Yeah.
Every time you say that, I think of your mother, who was telling you, lichen isn't a moss.
True.
It's something different, and you're like, yeah, that's the point of the joke, Mum.
Yeah, and it's not Liechtenstein.
Do you know? I sometimes recall that whole presentation. You practice that presentation so much.
Yeah.
It's so ingrained in my brain.
It's just crazy.
There. And that whole, when you used to get confused about the bootstraps.
Yeah.
And the bootstraps they did. Lovely.
But the funny thing is, I've done a fair amount of hiking in the past, and especially on the rocks where you see a lot of the lichens, because it's a lot warmer and it's not as, I suppose, damp, being in a drier environment, the lichen, as most people go, oh look, it's moss.
It's not.
Flowerless plant. Lichen basically evolves from
sludge,
algae or cyanobacteria, and you find that it's
just like chloroplasts.
It's a symbiosis between fungus or fungi and algae, and that's how you get lichens. And they can look sort of like a lightish green, like an opaque green, and you just on rock, and it just covers. Even orange ones, you get orange ones too. They're really cool. So they're very flat. They're not spongiform like the moss. But that's the joke. So I'm liking the moss is really, just taking a dig at the moss. But otherwise, every time I think of moss, I straight away think of the IT crowd. So there's another series we need to get into.
Okay, I'll add it to the list. All right, moving on to viruses. Okay. So someone, I don't know why they decided to do it, but they took this sample from Yellowstone's hot springs, and they found this new virus in there. It's called Acidanus, and I'm assuming everything that lives in a hot spring is a extremophile, and I'm assuming because it's called Acidanus, that means that it's very
acidic.
It likes acidity. It's very
it's happy there.
Hydrogen philic. Yeah. So basically, they want to use this to inspire new drug delivery systems. It's a really, really rare morphology of viruses because it looks like a spindle.
Yeah, spindle-tailed virus.
Yeah, and
Sidianus.
this unique structure has architectural properties, their quote, not mine, that is apparently can pose to be very useful in drug delivery. It's a very stable assembly because it has a lot of alpha helical structures within it, and they think that it can help genome injection and ejection tasking, so that way we can actually alter genes at the DNA level, because it's theoretically stable enough not to interact with anything other than what you're targeting it for within DNA or within the genome or whatever. And its helical structure mimics that of DNA, so they think that will help it kind of like aggregate toward the DNA.
Yeah. And
they looked at it with X-ray crystallography, which I learned today is going to be superseded by cryo crystallography, because X-ray crystallography is too finicky, and
you can get a lot smoother transitions
because you're just freezing it. You don't have to worry about everything being in phase or off phase or anything like that. So it'll have to do with the whole precipitating it out and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so Sidianus-tailed spindle virus or
I think
ATSV.
I think there are like 6 or so species because that's the genus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And basically what they're looking at is the morphology of the capsid.
Capsid.
It's because you have viral capsids.
Yeah.
And it's lemon shaped, so free lemons for everyone.
Lemon.
And if their research doesn't work, you can just go, sour results.
It's a lemon.
Or squash.
Well, squash.
Squash viruses.
So, talking about gene editing.
Oh, here we go.
You love CRISPR.
Yeah.
Everyone who's in... You just shut up like there was no tomorrow, didn't you? You just sat straight up.
Yep.
Michael loves CRISPR technology.
Yes.
According to... Where did I get this article from?
The Financial Times.
Yeah. Because it was in the stock market, and they're trying to say that every company now that is in the biotechnology field, it can obviously own patents for it.
Yeah.
And these patents for CRISPRs are going to be more money making than $1,000 sequencing machine.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more expensive to buy the actual CRISPR than it is to actually buy the machine to use the CRISPR.
Yeah. And just in case people wondering...
And here we go. So basically all I want to say is that it's, ready for human trials. This is the next frontier to treat many genetic disorders. Now you tell us what a CRISPR is.
Yeah, so basically a CRISPR, what it means...
You used CRISPR in your thesis, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Clustered randomly interspace palindromic
Oh my
repeats.
god, oh yeah. I love it when you talk science.
Yeah, and what you do is you link it with CRISPR-Cas9 and it acts as a library. So...
do you know how much the patent for CRISPR-Cas9 is going for right now? The last time I checked, it was $9 million, like US dollars.
And see, I actually used a gecko library. So they CRISPR'd a gecko,
What kind of gecko? Gecko!
Gecko, yeah. And one of the guys who actually I based some of my research on was a guy called Michael Olsen. So, but that... and all the other stuff I can't really go into.
No, obviously. But I was just saying...
Yeah.
I didn't mean, tell us about your thesis. Tell us about your research. I meant tell us about CRISPR.
And the most basic thing about it is you can target...
to a specific...
point.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go trial and error. There's some trial and error, but it goes. You
have to figure out to make sure it's actually binding the affinity to that, because don't you have to make sure that it's not going to a sequence, like, for example, if it's AT, you want to make sure it's not going to AT.
So essentially what you do, you should just go through, you don't want introns, you want exons.
Yeah.
And so then you just go through and which sequence is best, and you run it up against, we use CRISPR MIT to do some sequences, and we tested it against human, So,
cool.
But
cool
there's
as.
some, very, very cool things, because essentially the thing they want to really look at doing CRISPR is knocking out gene mutations. So Huntington's disease, they want to knock that out. And in case people don't know what Huntington's is, look it up.
Is it GAC repeat or CAG?
It's real bad, and it gets worse every generation. And it's essentially a ticking time bomb. You don't know when it's going to kick in, but when it kicks in, it's completely debilitating. And it speeds up each generation. So they're trying to knock that out. So, and also sickle cell anemia, they're trying to knock that out. So, really cool.
Alpha thalassemia minor over here.
Whee! So, CRISPR out the wazoo.
You know what else is out the wazoo? I titled this segment,
Out the
Lego
wazoo.
has a leg up on the competition.
Yeah.
Buckle up. I don't know if you've heard this, but Lego, their botanical elements are now going to be made from a range of plant-based plastic sourced from sugarcane. It's going to be added to kits starting from this year.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get a quarter on it. And this is just after they announced that they're running entirely on renewable energy 3 years ahead of their proposed schedule. And I found out they built a wind turbine just for the shits and giggles to celebrate.
Oh, sweet.
So they're 100%. If Lego, who's one of the biggest...
Yeah.
What do you call it? Not manufacturers of plastic, can say, fuck everything, we can be renewable.
Yeah.
Why can't everyone else?
Exactly. So does that mean your Lego breaks down?
It's not, biodegradability has nothing to do with where the plastic is sourced from.
So that means they've just gone to go, okay, we've switched from ABS plastic to corn.
But now can we talk about sugarcane? But can we talk about how much rainforest we're going to have to mow down?
Yep.
To plant sugarcane?
Oh, but it's sustainable, right?
But, alright, cool. But this is my theory, okay? Lego is single-handedly going to take down Disney Marvel.
Yep.
They're going to run the world. I'm calling it now.
You reckon Lego... So you reckon the Dutch are going to take over the world?
Can I ask, why haven't Lego ventured into Lego-looking furniture?
Well... Then you're going into furniture, maybe.
But why not?
I don't know. It's solid.
I would like a kitchen table.
Out of Lego?
Lego.
I reckon we can arrange that.
It doesn't have to be hard plastic. Like, they can coat it with something.
Lego.
Anyway. Going on from this. You know what? We are making fucking excellent time considering the amount of fucking articles I added to this document. Onto the things I wanted to talk to you about. Apple is having a smashing. Let me say that again. I'm sorry. I had like 2 hours sleep yesterday. Apple is having a smashing time. So I read this story, laughed my ass off. It's my second favourite story of the day, but then I also felt terrible because I felt bad and evil. So the story goes that Apple employees at Apple Park, they're running into the panes of glass that make up the Apple office, but I call the Apple Fortress, okay? And after a couple of, they actually released transcripts of 911 calls.
Yeah.
And the poor people, and what they're trying to do is they're putting sticky notes and flags on the panes of glass because the glass is that clean and that, what's the word of the quality of the glass? I can't remember. But they're putting things on the glass, so that way they know that the glass pane is still there.
Yeah.
But the cleaning crew and other managers are taking them off because they think it looks unprofessional. So people just keep walking into the glass panes, and they're injuring themselves. Like the three, transcriptions, the transcriptions that I read, people split their head open because they'd walked into the glass that hard.
You're not paying attention, you're on your phone, bang, straight
No,
in the
but
window.
it's just the fact that the glass is that good quality. They don't know the glass is there.
How you like them apples?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at the problem, it's very clear cut. Let me guess. It must have caused a lot of pain.
I don't get
Window
it.
pane. I'm knocking them for a 6.
You're shattering the competition.
Shattered.
Alright, so, second to last... Yeah,
Look on the bright side. If anyone's walked through them, we at least know where the error 404s are popping up.
Error 404.
Actually, Windows. Sorry, no.
Yeah,
Crap.
Alright, so I just want to quickly run through some recent food outbreaks with everyone. So here in Australia, we're having the Listeria outbreak in rockmelon at the moment. And now the US is having an E. coli outbreak. And they are being forced to recall almost 7 tons of ground beef, which I think is just mince, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you call a cow with no legs?
Bob?
Ground beef.
Okay, anyway. And pork, right? And then the interstate meat distributors were conducting their routine cell load counts that, every company's supposed to do. They're supposed to employ microbiologists for food safety and quality control and stuff. And then they found that there was a very heavy load. So they notified the US Departments of Agriculture, Food Safety, and good on them for actually getting on top of it and making that call. Because then so far for them, they caught it early and there are no confirmed reports the last time I checked. And then you compare it here to Australia where 3 people have already died and dozens of people are fucking infected.
Yeah, plus we still got measles going around.
And then, they have to tell the producer in Australia to stop... to stop selling it, to stop growing, and now there's going to be a inquiry to review how the food is going to be packaged and sold, packed. So if you have a rock melon here in Australia, please just throw it out. If you're worried about the money, go get your fucking refund.
Yep.
It is not worth it, and I'm saying this because, as you know, I had this argument with my grandmother last week, and she was telling me how I was being stupid. She's eaten this rock melon her whole life.
She doesn't get it.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Each rock melon is different.
And then she was like, "Ma, you don't know what you're talking about." And I just said, and then my mum was like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I told her the story. You were there. She was like, "Oh shit, quick, throw it out." Blah blah blah. So yeah, I yelled at her. So please just take care of yourselves. Apparently they're going to figure it all out, but apparently this wholesaler exported it overseas.
Yeah, so it's probably heading to Singapore, Hong Kong, and New Zealand, and also maybe
the United Arab Emirates and Brunei as well.
Oh boy!
So it's on, it's already loaded.
So it's going to be fully chic.
You think quarantine would check something like that, don't you? Before they shipped it off?
I mean, do you test one? Is it on the outside, inside? Do you have to do a probe?
Well, technically, if they're grown, the listeria is in soil.
Yeah.
Right? But you'd assume that it would be predominantly on the surface of the rock melon.
So,
but also, it would also be able to go into the rock melon too, right?
Yeah.
Be able to infect it? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Rock concert.
But anyway, onto something a lot less, jokey. We have a new outbreak now in West Africa. This is Lassa virus. So since the start of the year, Nigeria has basically been suffering with this outbreak of Lassa fever, and we've known about it since I think 1968 or something like that. But we've just had this massive amount of cases. There's no vaccine for it. It's another viral hemorrhagic fever. Since what was it? I think it was the 1st of January to, I want to say it was the 22nd of February or something like that. So you say a month and a bit. over 1,081 cases were reported a week ago. There's a fatality of 22%. So I think that means that, I did my calculations, and I think that means that 90 people have died so far from this. It's even affecting and killing healthcare aid workers and humanitarian workers. It's that bad. And the rate could actually be so much higher, but due to the lower quality and access to healthcare, obviously in Nigeria, as well as the reporting, it's also virtually indistinguishable from malaria, dengue, and a ton of other things. Dengue, I should say. So without a lab diagnosis, it could actually be infecting a lot more people than is what is being reported.
And also, it's being spread by rodents such as multi-mammoth rodents, and the problem is because they're small, they leave the droppings everywhere.
Yeah, it's in their urine as well.
Yep, so they pee on something and pee in the water, contaminate everything, and off you go.
And people are suspecting a mutation in the actual virus is what's causing, I should say, this exponential rate.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Yes.
You know how do you test the effects of a bioweapon?
Look, I don't...
Hypothetically, though, if you were to...
Can we just say, before we delve into this discussion, we are in no way, shape or form trying to offend anyone.
No.
We're not trying to say that this is a bioweapon. We're just saying on the back of this discussion, it's got nothing to do with the outbreak. Seriously, someone needs to do something. Yeah. Someone needs to send someone.
It's more like looking at the sense of transmission. So what, purely as a transmission, like as a carrier, what would you use? Birds. So you got birds, rats,
I wouldn't do...
Because they can breed fast.
I wouldn't do rats, I'd do birds.
Birds, you reckon?
Because there are 560 birds to every person on planet Earth.
Yeah, fair point.
And birds go everywhere.
And that's why you get avian flu.
Yep.
And they poop in like pigs.
And I just read Fifth Wave too, so...
Yeah, so it's just interesting. Unfortunate. And so, basically, you contaminate an object in the home and it spreads.
Well, also they have, I don't want to say poor access to, they don't have good water quality, and they don't have access to good sanitation or anything like that, and unfortunately they live in such close quarters, especially if it's rural, that it is so easy to pass something along that's this infectious.
Imagine if they went to a market. You contaminate every person that goes in that market.
So it's just terrible. But anyway, so on that note, do you have anything else you would like to discuss?
I'm thinking of taking fig tree cuttings and planting figs in the backyard. So I'm going to get my gardening on and get some figs.
I almost said Don Burke, and then I was like, no.
Nope. So we're thinking about maybe popping down to Bunnings and getting some stuff there.
You're thinking of popping.
I'm thinking of popping down to Bunnings. It's more just to get the pots to put them in, and then I need to get the root grower and work out the best way to cut the roots off the cuttings. Cut the cuttings to put them in, and then grow. And we make greenhouses, and then voila, fig trees. Because fig trees can do some really nice ground cover. Not so much ground cover, but just foliage. But they grow big, and fast. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's me, figs and fig jam.
Figs.
Yeah, figs. Jam.
I've never had fig jam until you gave me that thing.
Yeah, and you thought that it was going to be horrible up until then. But no, I'm saying but it was a surprise. You were generally surprised. You're like, oh, this is good.
Okay, look, I'm one of those people that if I haven't tried it before, I say I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay? You live with me, I have a very set routine. I have things that I eat a lot that are in there, and I don't really like to... It's a big deal for me to kind of go, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm a creature of habit, right? So when you were like, yo, here's this fig jam, I was instantly like, I don't like figs. And then you were like, here's this fig jam. And then I was like, I want to eat the whole jar.
Yeah.
So I had a good time. You know what I'm not having a good time about? Obviously, it's the start of the new uni semester. Yeah. And at the start of the new uni semester, I always buy new toner for my printer.
Yeah.
I just have a little black and white. That's right. Just a mono laser, right?
Monotone.
Yeah. And let me just give you a tip. If you have one of those, and buy your fucking toner online, first off. Do not go to a store in Australia. Go online. Because the toner is $90 to buy it in Officeworks. And I can get 3 for $23 on eBay.
Yeah.
And it fits like like a dream. But anyway, so I put in toner because my toner was out. I got another 40 pages printed. And then I got the error light that the printer drum was at the end of its 10,000 page lifespan. And then, this is not a conspiracy, this works. What you do is you open up the lid of the printer, right? You press the power button 4 times, and that manually resets your drum count. So your printer thinks it's got a new drum in there. It doesn't work if the lid is closed, it only works if the lid is open. And then press it 3 times.
What was it for?
No, you press it 4 times to reset the drum count. You close the lid, let it refresh. The light will go green like the standby light.
Yeah.
Press it 3 times, and then you get the status report of the printer, and then your drum life should be 100%. It can get a bit finicky, and the printer will be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So because I need like my quality of life relies on that printer as much as it does my laptop. So I thought, I ain't going to fuck around. I'm just going to fork out $20 online, eBay again, to get a drum kit, which I told you about because you have to sign for it for me.
Yeah.
Because I won't be home because uni. But anyway, so I did that. Anyway, so to cut to the actual point of this conversation, I paid his $23 on Thursday. He ships it on Sunday. He was supposed to get here today or tomorrow. I've plugged in. He sent me a tracker this afternoon just while I was on my way home. And I plug in the tracker into Australia Post. And the Australia Post server is down for maintenance.
Oh.
Because it's for maintenance. And I just want to know where my drum is. But anyway, so if you have a brother, mine is the HL 1110. Like I said, switch it on, open the lid, pump the power button 4 times, count to 5, close the lid, wait for the light to reset, pump it 3 times, power button, see the progress report. I don't know how long it will last because I was having some issues where I had to do it a couple of times for it to stick to that. I had to press it 4 times a couple of times, and now it's working. It's got 100% drum power. But like I said, I need to make sure my printer's okay, so I bought the drum just in case. Ask me how much the drum costs at Officeworks.
How much did the drum kit cost?
$188.
Jeez.
And I bought one for $23.30.
That is nice.
So yeah.
Bargain.
Bargain. Bargain. Alright, is there anything else for anyone?
No.
No. I enjoyed today's. I really like sitting down. I like planning for them and scaring, for articles and stuff. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's good. We come up with some fun stuff this week.
So yeah. Alright. That's it from me. You got anything good, sir?
Nope, I'm good.
No. Also, I want to have a bit of a bragging moment. Look, it's the start of the year. I can brag because it's all downhill from here. It's all downhill from here. But I answered a quiz. It wasn't even a quiz. It was a concept question. And he said, "Yo, first person to email me with the right answer gets a chocolate bar." And I'm trying to get into the maths club.
Yep.
And I'm not bragging, but I'm getting your chocolate bar tomorrow.
Yeah. You'd be shattered if it's one of those little snack pack ones.
I'm framing it. Because this lecture is very hard to win over. Even if I eat the chocolate, I'll share it with you. But I'm keeping that wrapper.
Done.
And he was like, "Oh, in your email, tell me which chocolate bar you prefer."
All the chocolate.
And I didn't specify which one. I want to see what kind of chocolate person this guy is. I hope he wasn't. As soon as he said it, I was like, I pulled out my phone and I'm like, I'm gonna, be the first one in.
Yeah.
And I hope he didn't think I was rude because it was so hot. We were in a different room than where it's been held previously, and in other lecture theatres. And as you know, for that building, it's just stifling freaking hot.
Yeah.
And they have really big overhead lights that you can't dim.
Yeah.
So he switched off the lights. Thank God I was in the third row, because the light from the projector was still hitting us, so I could see to right.
Yeah.
But I hope he didn't think I was being rude, but he probably figured out that it was me emailing him.
Probably, yeah.
The answer. So, yeah. If anyone wants to know what it was basically the fact that how can an E. coli cell take 20 minutes to divide, but when we calculate it out, it's 38 minutes, based on the rate of transcription and translation of DNA synthesis. And it's because, what did I say in my answer? I don't even remember, man. I shit my pants, no, not literally. But it's because there are, what do you call it? You have other, what do you call it? What did I call them? You have more replication forks than you do points of origin, so it's already good to go. It just got a DNA polymerase. It has to bind, synthesize, because for every replication event, I think you get another 2 forks that form.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, I think that's right, but he told me that it was right, because, the DNA polymerase runs at many sites simultaneously, and that can decrease it from 38 minutes. And then I was like, thank you for your time, Steph. Yeah. Oh my God, he actually put his phone number down.
Yeah, I think he's done
his
that.
signature. Wow. Alright, that's it for me.
All done. Yes.
Look, I don't want to be the best. I want to be the best. But realistically, I don't think I can be the best.
Oh, fine. Just study your ass off and you'll be fine.
But he told me today, he told the class today, that you need a minimum. To get into honours and research, the minimum you need is 65, right? Yeah. But if you actually want to pursue research, if you actually want to get into postgraduate medicine, dentistry, whatever, if you actually want to use this degree for something, you need to get higher than an 80. You need to get an A. Minimum an 80, A.
Yeah.
To continue on. So, look, I'm on track. I'm doing the work. I'm a topic ahead. I just got to keep up and I've got to revise and stuff and keep it going. And it's not like I did shit. I think the lowest grade I got last year was 77?
Uh-huh.
So it's not like I'm only getting D's, but I'm scared. Okay?
You'll be fine.
I don't know what's coming after this.
You're fine.
Oh, and also, if anyone is a student, go to your bank, take in your student card, tertiary students, and make sure that you update your student status, so that way they don't charge you account keeping fees for the year.
Yep.
I'm done.
All good.
What are your plans for this week?
Do some more reading. I've got some gameplay to catch up on.
Yep.
Maybe watch some more Star Trek. Maybe build something. Do some gardening. Mow the lawn.
Yay! Yeah. I'm thinking of going to see Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Obviously, lecture. I've got he doesn't put the spy chem lecturer. He doesn't put the lecture notes up because he's like, hey, when you go to symposiums, when you go to presentations, they're not going to provide you with documents to write on. You're going to need to you're going to need to learn to figure out what information is more important. So I figured I'm just going to re-watch them.
Yep.
So we had a double today. I need to re-watch one. Well, I know it's pretty good, but you know when you just want to re-watch it to just add everything in there?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of starting a couple of assignments this weekend. All my assignments are due week 10, 11 and 12.
Get them out of the way now.
Besides quizzes and stuff. So I'm just going to smash some, get drafts in. And, yep, that's it. That's it from me. Not planning anything extravagant. Interesting. Yeah. Actually, it's a month out from my birthday. Oops. In case I forgot.
Yep.
And that's it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Party.
Yep, alright, I'll shut up. Sorry, waffling.
All good.
Yep, okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. All
Well,
good.
thank you everyone for listening.
Yep.
Thank you for having the afternoon off with us.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper.
Au revoir.
May the force be with you.
Yep.
And you shall hear from us in a week's time, guys. Thank you so much.
Don't eat raw potatoes.
Yeah. As always, the links will be for the quiz will be in the description if you want to get in contact with us or the show. If you want to pose us any questions, be sure to do so. If there's a topic you want us to cover, please let us know. I'm going to smash edit this and upload you. So have a great afternoon, early evening now, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Au revoir.